Which federal court should I choose to litigate my tax issue and why? Your controversy can be litigated with the tax court, the U.S. District Court, or the Court of Federal Claims. It is very important that you consult with counsel in choosing which federal court to litigate your tax issue, because the court that you approach must have jurisdiction to hear your issue or you'll never get off the ground. Each court has limited jurisdiction or a limited ability to hear certain types of issues. You must choose the proper court to bring your action. The following are the factors that sophisticated tax counsel will weigh in choosing which court to bring your litigation in. The first issue that I like to look at are the settlement possibilities. Different federal courts offer differing opportunities to settle the issue without having to litigate it. Which federal court should I choose to litigate my issue in and why? Well, the first consideration is certain types of federal courts are used to hearing certain types of cases and they may or may not have tax expertise. The court with the most amount of tax expertise is the tax court because this is the only type of case they hear. The federal district courts and the Court of Federal Appeals hear certain types of tax cases, but they hear every other issue under the sun besides tax, and they may or may not be experts at tax, depending on the judge that hears your case. The tax court is the only court that hears solely tax issues and is staffed by tax specialists. The complexity of the tax issue is also a major consideration in selecting a federal court. If it's a highly complex tax issue, you want to be in tax court, not one of the other courts that may or may not have that expertise. The legal precedents that you're going to rely on also can dictate which court you're in. If you can find legal precedents with the district court or with the Court of Appeals that are more helpful to you than tax court, you might want to go with those other courts. The prior decisions of a court give a lot of insight into the future decisions of that court. For example, if a case is brought in tax court that had very similar facts to your case and identical law as is driving your case, and that case is on your side and that's in the tax court, we'll file in the tax court hoping to get the same treatment as was afforded in the case that we're relying on, the precedent. What's also important is the jurisdiction of the case. Certain federal courts are enumered with certain types of jurisdiction or the power to hear certain types of cases. If you don't want to pay to play, in other words, you would rather litigate the issue before paying the tax that's at issue, the only court available to you is the tax court. If you're capable of paying the tax and then suing for a refund, the federal district court and the Court of Claims are available to you. Also, certain types of cases can only be heard in tax court and vice versa. The Court of Federal Claims and the Federal District Court are the only courts that have jurisdiction to hear refund claims. If your issue is that you've paid taxes to the government, that you feel you've paid unfairly and you want a refund, you can't litigate that issue in tax court. So in a refund action, taxpayers are usually after the tax they paid plus any penalties and interest that were taken from them unreasonably or unfairly or illegally. Those are refund claims.